What's up, Cradle fans? It's Bamfilosophy, and I'm here to make a Dreadgod video. Why? Because many of you have asked me to. And also, why not make a video that's going to become completely outdated in like 4 days? Perfect. Um, but in the end, I make videos for y'all. I don't make them for me. I already know what's in my head. I already know my own theories. And by this point, we're 10 out of 12 of the way through. So we're like, I don't know, 90-ish% there, 85% there. So, I mean, we're kind of closing in on what could happen. So I think at some point we're all pretty close in terms of being able to guesstimate what's going to happen. But y'all want this video, you want content so you can satiate your Cradle fix. You've waited quite a long time. We're 3 months or so, 2 months, 3 months beyond when we normally get a book. And we know why. Will's been writing a new series. He's probably started book 12 too, because he's just prolific and doesn't have anything else to do, being chained into the basement of the floating white compound that can't be found. Anyway, I digress. We're going to talk about Dreadgod today. And we're going to talk about what I think is going to happen in the series or in the book. We're going to talk about what I hope to see. And we're also going to cover, once again, the Conjure principle, which I'm not going to give any context to, but it's important because it's a pretty good indicator of what's going to happen in the book. It's been consistent for most of the books anyway. So I'm going to share my screen and we're just going to get into it. We're not going to edit this. We're just going to stream of conscious all the way through. Someone today told me that I have like these videos are unhinged ramblings that turn out to be true. And I completely agree with that. I love that. I endorse that. So we're gonna lean into that. All right. So we start our journey with the cover. We don't have a lot of information, but we have the cover. We have 10 other books of Will White. Well, 10 other books of Cradle version of Will White, and we can guesstimate. So this is the cover. The cover is important, actually, more important than many people give credence to, and that's where the Conjure principle comes in. But I'm going to talk about that more towards the end of this video. I think we know that this is not like an Oreo blocking the sun. We know this isn't an Oreo eclipse. We know this is the Silent King's halo. Will has come out and said that. That is a fact. This indicates the Silent King, which makes sense in a way because the title of the book is Dreadgod. The Silent King is the one Dreadgod. We don't have much. We haven't had much on-screen playtime with. We've seen the Bleeding Phoenix quite a lot. We've seen the Wandering Titan quite a lot, and we've seen the Weeping Dragon, sort of. But Silent King, we don't know what it does other than it mind controls people and puts halos behind their head. We got a flashback of that in Bloodline, I believe, when there's a flashback on the last time that monarchs tried to kill a Dreadgod while that Dreadgod was in Sacred Valley when the suppression ring wasn't active. Anyway, so this is a great indicator for like what's probably going to happen in the book. There's probably going to be some sort of situation with the Silent King, right? And there's probably going to be some sort of situation with Emrys. Why do we think that? Because Malice looked into fate and saw Emrys in her future. Now that was before the Mad King showed up and, you know, blotted out the sky and made the stars go away and forced Aethan to come out of retirement and get captured. So I'm assuming that because we know the Silent King is going to be at play, we can guesstimate that Emrys will be at play as well, which is cool because we haven't seen much of her. We haven't seen much of our favorite sentient tree. All right, prepare your eyeballs for brightness because I'm switching tabs. All right, you're safe now. So we're going to go to the page and we're going to read very quickly the synopsis. Okay, this is important because it's fucking synopsis. All right, so the battle in the heavens has left a target on Lyndon's back. His most reliable ally is gone, Athan. The monarchs see him as a threat because of Athan, and he has inherited one of the most valuable facilities in the world because of Athan. Well, actually, because of Lyndon. Lyndon earned that one. At any moment, his enemies could band together to kill him, the monarchs, if it weren't for the Dreadgods. Yeah, they're stronger now. Remember that, because Rhaegon Shen activated the binding of the Silent King, which I think is weird that this is how they got strength, but the Silent King is dead. Sorry, the Slumbering Wraith is dead. Wow, I totally went off the rail there. The Slumbering Wraith is dead, the 5th Dreadgod. But we know Dreadgods don't die forever, especially if they're like, their anchor to existence still is there. And we know what the anchors of existence are for the 4. It's those like powerful, well, we assume it's those powerful like orbs or whatever that were placed by the mountains. We assume that those are the anchors to existence. We know that they're fueled by monarchs and what have you, but anyway. In fact, the monarchs might be just the anchors to existence. Who knows? But we know that the Slumbering Wraith died. Rhaegon Shen has the binding, utilized the binding, and channeled all of the 5th Dreadgod's power to those 4 Dreadgods, waking them up, making them dangerous, and now all capable fighters are required to fight. And Lyndon is now a full-on sage. He's a really powerful sage, though, because he's very hard to kill because of his body. He's very hard to hit because of dross. He has an extremely powerful path in Black Flame, very destructive. And he has a pure path that's basically anti-magic, and he can like disable your attacks, disable your body, then burn you to a crisp with Black Flame. So he also has the Void icon, right? So he is a potent combatant, and I'm assuming this line, if it weren't for the Dreadgods, means that the monarchs aren't gonna like immediately come imprison him and bitch slap him. All 4 Dreadgods are empowered and unleashed, rampaging through Cradle, and grudges old and new must be set aside. I could have just read one more sentence and avoided that entire explanation. The monarchs need every capable fighter to help them defend their territory. Again. And Lyndon needs time. Yeah, because he's trying to get stronger. But not only is he trying to get stronger, while he fights, he sends his friends off to train. They'll need to advance impossibly fast if they want to join him in battle against the kings and queens of Cradle. Together, they will need the power to rival a Dreadgod. This is hilarious to me because Lyndon starts off the series as the weakest, and at the beginning of the 11th book, he is the strongest of his team. You could argue that Yaren is as strong, but remember, Yaren is still an overlord. She's an overlord herald, so she doesn't have the full access to her body and to her Madra in the way that a normal herald would. So Lyndon could probably defeat her right now. Not that they would fight, they are a couple and all that. And couples never fight, ever. Especially not on a place like Cradle. So it's time for training montages across the board. So that's kind of what we know we're going to see. We know we're going to see some training montages, but it's a matter of predicting what they are. So Mercy, from what I remember, is with her mother. So Mercy is kind of like a prisoner in her own home. Probably doesn't realize she's a prisoner in her own home. So Mercy's going to be an interesting one. I'm not sure if they're going to like... In fact, I really doubt that Lyndon's going to want to leave her behind, because in the last book, he was super upset that he kept having to leave people behind and continued the journey on his own. He was really upset about that. So I very, very much doubt that Lyndon is going to... He's going to abandon her. So we're going to see Zeal need to get a buff. We're going to see Mercy need to get a buff. We're going to need to see Yaren need to get a buff. We're going to need to see Orthos need to get a buff. We're probably going to even need to see Little Blue need to get buffed, because those were the folks that were in the labyrinth. Athan's no longer around, so it's going to be up to Lyndon to figure out how they can advance, because none of them, other than Yaren, are really used to the pace with which Lyndon advances. How is he going to do that? Well, he has access to the labyrinth, which is like probably pretty important if I had to guess, you know? It's a like a globe spanning superstructure that has space and teleportation authority. And from what we've understood, it's a lot cheaper to teleport when you're in the labyrinth than outside of the labyrinth. We don't really know why. Probably just it's ancient, and we know that the original Abadan court was there, so they might have given it some extra authority. We don't know specifically, but there's probably some reasons. So Lyndon now has access to the entire planet. He also has access to millennia of research and knowledge on stuff. So he's probably going to use Dross as like his super AI to get all the information and find out where on the vast planet of Cradle there are training resources that he can steal so that his friends can go do a training montage. Now, I really don't know how they're going to power up fast enough. Yaren, like we know where Yaren's going to go. Yaren's going to go to the Red Moon Hall. She doesn't want to. It's creepy, but she's going to go there to get stronger. Her goal is to hit Herald, full Herald, so she needs to advance to Arch Lord. She needs to advance to Arch Lord, and then she needs to get some sort of like potent blood because Heralds advance through like fighting and gathering power, just like pure gathering power, which is why lots of folks have speculated that Lyndon would have had an easier time through Herald because he can just accumulate power with his Monarch level Dreadgod arm. So anyway, we expect that from Yaren. Zeal, I have no idea. He's supposed to be close to Sage, so maybe some like ancient place with like a bunch of force but like we don't know what kind of sage he's going to be. I keep thinking he's going to be like a protector sage. So who knows? But that's Zeal. Orthos is pretty easy because he's a black flame dragon. So Lyndon's going to need to find black flame remnants or like ancient black flame artifacts that have bindings in them or something that's going to help Orthos power up. Then Mercy. I mean, Mercy has her book. I don't really know what's going on there, but Lyndon now has access to the Soul Forge and he knows what he's doing. And he has like a super creator hammer now, so that he might be able to modify the book somehow to let her access other pages. Although I expect that to just like kill her. So don't know how that's going to be resolved. Little Blue, don't know either. I don't know how Little Blue's going to power up because she's bound to him. And I think if he fed her too much of his own purified Madra, it would harm her. So she needs to get stronger on her own somehow. Maybe utilizing some hunger aspect. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. But they're going to be using the labyrinth to do it. And because of this like training montage and getting stronger bit, I have a strong feeling that this book is going to resemble a combination of Ghostwater with like exotic places, Ghostwater and Wintersteel. Because Wintersteel, there's a lot of fighting, a lot of cool battles. We get to see people fighting together in a team. So I'm assuming it's going to be a mix of Ghostwater and Wintersteel, which are my two favorite books. So that's pretty cool. Now, finally, we are going to jump over to the Kandra principal. This is Kandra. This is her Instagram. The principal has nothing to do with her Instagram, but her IG handle is jazzy.kandra. Go check her out. She makes a lot of really cool art. But the Kandra principal states that what's on the cover is acquired, or like one of the main characters like acquires that or becomes that. Every single cover. And I'll walk you through. In Unsold, Lyndon is already unsold. He has this badge and he carries it with him. Nothing too whatever there. But then in Soulsmith, Lyndon becomes a Soulsmith. He also hits Iron and gets this badge, right? In book 3, Lyndon gets the Path of the Black Flame and he learns how to master the basics of Black Flame. In Skysworn, he becomes a Skysworn. He joins the Skysworn. That's like the whole book. There's no real progression, just character development and plot stuff. In the 5th book, he acquires Ghostwater in the form of Dross. Dross is powered by like a whole bowl of ghost water. All right. This isn't too crazy. An Underlord, he becomes an Underlord, but more specifically, the Heavens Drop, he uses the Heavens Drop to reach peak True Gold in his Pure Core. And then in book 7, Yaren becomes uncrowned. Lyndon almost becomes uncrowned. Blah, blah, blah. This is the first one where we're like, but Yaren's a main character by this point. Then we have Winter Steel, where he gets a Winter Steel badge by the end of it. He unlocks Sagehood and gets a Winter Steel badge thanks to Ethan. And then in Bloodline, it gets a little weird again, but in Bloodline, Lyndon is able to learn that he's going to leave behind a bloodline if he hits Monarch. So that's pretty cool. He learns that he has a bloodline that he's gonna whatever. Then in Reaper, we get the Reaper back. Ethan becomes a Reaper again, unfortunately. But that's what happens. So someone's becoming a Dreadgod. That's the Conjure principle at play. Someone's becoming a Dreadgod, and it looks like someone's going to become a Dreadgod through the Silent King. This is like hyper speculative and probably might not happen, but the Conjure principle has hold mostly true, and it's hold mostly true because in hindsight you can be like, haha, this is what happened. But I have to end this video now because I have to go do stuff. So I'm leaving you with this. That's the Conjure principle. Someone's going to become a Dreadgod. We have 3 options actually. We've got Rhaegon Shen, because Rhaegon Shen has the binding and he could put the binding and become the Slumbering Wraith. I don't know if that would like siphon power away from the other 4. Probably not though. Not right away. The second option is Lyndon, because he has the Slumbering Wraith's arm. He could absorb a lot more power because that arm itself is going to be hungry and can handle a lot of power on its own, right? He has Dross back, so he can like cycle things out. He's now a full sage too. So his ability to manipulate his body, his aura, his soul fire, all that is much stronger. He can probably handle siphoning off power from a Dreadgod. The third option is Yaren. Yaren has a direct connection to the Bleeding Phoenix, and Yaren has yet to utilize the hunger component of her blood shadow, which is now part of who she is. So she, because her body is untapped now with the spirit, could siphon off the Bleeding Phoenix and become Dreadgod-like. I'm not going to speculate on which of the 3, but I'm assuming that if the Conjure principle holds true, this is what's going to happen. So that is it for this video, my friends. I could have made a longer one, but I have stuff to do. I wanted to get this video out quickly. It's still a 20-minute video-ish, so be happy. Watch it multiple times. Send it to your friends. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you want more videos, message me. Tell me what you want to see. Shoot me a message on Instagram. My Instagram is linked. It'll be linked in the video. It'll be linked up at the top of the channel. You can join the Discord for the Cradle Discord and message me there. I don't know. If you want more videos, you just got to let me know that you want them, because I make them for you. I don't make them for me. Anyway, have a great weekend, everyone. Hope this satiates you a little bit while you wait for the book. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. All that stuff. Have a good time. Later.